Hello everyone, I'd like to introduce you to a very special friend of mine, Gilroy. Gilroy is a 1998 BMW 7 Series, and to me it's a very special motor vehicle. Let me tell you why.
Because I've got this. A massive stack of paperwork that documents most of the car's history from new, a rare thing to have on a car of this age. For example, I've got things like a dealership sales invoice from the late 1990s, the original service book, and I've even got the brochure and price list. But there's one more reason as to why this car is a very special friend and a very special car, and that's because its previous owner was my grandfather, or grandpa as we'd call him. Therefore, it's grandpa's name that's on all of the paperwork that I have. I took ownership of the car in 2015, and it's why I've got this BMW E38 poster on the wall behind me that a few of you have noticed in the past. The date on it is the same as the car's date of first registration. So why am I showing you the car? Well, I have a plan that I think will make for some fun and entertaining videos. Let me explain. For the last few years, the 7 Series has been parked up on the drive and I've barely driven it. It's not through neglect, it's just I haven't had the time and life gets in the way, and before you know it, it's a few years later. But I've had enough of it sitting around not being used, and things are going to change. So what we're going to do is give the car what I like to call a refresh-duration. This isn't the same as a full nut and bolt restoration because I don't think the car needs it, but what we will be doing is giving the car a complete service, so changing the oil, coolant, diff oil, new brakes, new tyres, and we've got to send the car down for an MOT as well. So basically we're going to sort the car out, get it up and running as best we can, and once we've done that, we're going to take the car on a road trip. What we're going to do is drive a hopefully working BMW 7 Series from Auto Shenanigans HQ 140 miles north to a place called Harrogate, which is in Yorkshire. And the plan is to take the car back to its supplying BMW dealership, which, thanks to the perfect service history, I have the address details. Not only will we be taking the car back to the original dealer, Harrogate is where Grandpa lived, so really what we're doing is taking the car back to where it lived, where it grew up. We're taking it home.
But before we even turn the key, there's a bit of a problem that I need to sort out, and it's these. The tyres. Not only has the car been sat for a couple of years, so there's definitely flat spots and these tyres are fit for the bin, these tyres are not the correct fitment for this car. I bought the wheels second hand and these were the tyres that came on it, but as I say, they don't suit this car, they're completely wrong, so I have ordered in some new tyres. As for which are the correct tyres, well, I ran a poll on my YouTube community page giving you guys the opportunity to vote for which your preferred tyre was. 3 options: Continental, Michelin or Goodyear, all fantastic tyres, but with over 5,000 votes received, the majority came back as the Michelin Pilot Sport 5s. That's what I'll be fitting. Now I do have a bit of a problem. Ordinarily you would just drive to the tyre shop, they would swap the tyres and you drive away again, happy days. We can't do that with this because it's not road legal, so that's where these come in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jack the car up, take these wheels and tyres off and put these on. These are the original 16-inch wheels that came with the car. So with the car sat on a set of 16-inch original wheels, I will take the other wheels and tyres to the tyre shop, they shall swap those around, and when we get back we'll swap the wheels back around again, and boom, we've got new tyres ready to drive to the MOT garage. Now I know what some of you are probably thinking. If I've got a set of original wheels with some road legal tyres on them, why not just fit those and drive the car to the MOT garage? Well, there are 2 reasons. One, the tyres that are on those original wheels are about 12 years old, so they're no good and they're going to need to be replaced anyway. And 2, and I think more importantly, the 18-inch style 32 wheels really suit the E38 much more so than the original 16-inch wheels, so I'm going to stick with the style 32s and we'll get those nice tyres on it. I don't think you need to watch me swap the wheels 4 times over, so I'll just get that out of the way, but here's something I didn't think about. Somehow I'm supposed to get all of this into my Saab 9.3 saloon. I'm not sure it's going to fit, I might have to do 2 trips, but we're going to try because that'll be funny. Well, that was a lot easier than I was expecting. There's one thing I've got to do before we take these to the tyre shop and they get fitted onto the wheels. Sorry. Right, let's go. Visibility may be somewhat reduced. It's now the next day and I've just had a call from the tyre shop to say the wheels and tyres are done and ready for collection, so I'm on my way to go and pick those up.
Tyres collected, and like before, I set about swapping the wheels over, although this time with the correctly sized tyres fitted.
That's all of them. I've just got to torque up this last one to spec, which is 90 foot-pounds. And that's the job done. All of the tyres are now brand new and road legal. Lovely indeed. But before we drive it to the MOT garage, there are a couple more things I have to do. And the first thing is to clean it. When I was changing the wheels and tyres, I couldn't help but notice that it is very apparent that this car has been sat on the drive for a very long time. So I'm going to give it a thorough wash. And to be honest, I don't want to present the car looking a complete mess to the MOT guy, because I'm sure he'll take one look and just fail it straight away. Cue the cleaning montage. Finished. And that took a lot longer than I thought it would, to the point where I ran out of daylight, so it's now the next day, and it rained overnight, so brilliant. The next couple of things I need to check are underneath the bonnet, so join me in the engine bay. Now, if you've ever owned an aging BMW, you will know all about BMW cooling systems, so before I even start the car, I'm going to check the coolant level to make sure that there is still some in there. There is still coolant in there. So that's a good start. And whilst I'm here, I'm going to check the oil as well. Again, just to make sure that there is some in there. But the next thing is to turn the key and see if it starts. And if it does, we can then drive it to the MOT garage. The MOT is actually booked for tomorrow, so we're going to do that tomorrow morning. So I'll see you then.
Good morning. You join me in Gilroy. Wait a minute. Today is the day we're going to go and get the MOT. I'm quite excited because this is the first time I've driven the car on the public road for any distance for, gosh, it must be a good 2 or 3 years now, I would have thought. But anyway, we're going to drive down to the MOT garage. Hopefully we make it there and we'll get an MOT. The first start is always a bit nerve-wracking when you haven't run the car for a little while. Everybody ready? It's fair to say Gilroy is sounding a little bit hungover, but in any case, whilst I drive the car down to the MOT garage, I'll tell you a little bit more about this very special E38 BMW. Yes, indeed, very special because, as mentioned, it was Grandpa's car, making it a one-of-a-kind as far as I'm concerned. But what of the motor vehicle itself? It's a 1998 BMW E38 735i, which comes with a 3.5 litre V8 mated to a traditional style automatic transmission. If you like having miles per gallon, this is not the car for you. And proceed! As mentioned, and as I shall continue to mention, the car was owned by my grandfather, and looking through the original sales invoice, it seems that Grandpa managed to save himself a few quid by picking up what I think was a dealership ex-demonstrator car. Grandpa picked up the car in January 1999, a couple of months after its first registration, and in doing so, I reckon he saved a few £1,000s. Yorkshire though, isn't it? They're all tight up there. In any case, between January 1999 and April 2015, Grandpa drove 59,000 miles in the 7 Series, by which time, what with being old and all, Grandpa stopped driving, but rather than the car be punted off for cheap, it was handed over to a new custodian, which is me. Since then, I've enjoyed another 44,000 miles of driving the car, but in recent years that hasn't happened. Sadly, Grandpa is no longer with us, and if he was, he'd probably be quite pissed off at me for letting the car sit about for so long, but I'm doing something about it, and now you guys are a little bit more familiar with the car, I hope you'll come along for the journey. But let's start with that MOT, shall we? Well, I've arrived at the MOT garage. That was a successful journey. The sun is out, so it's shaping up to be a good day. Now, to make sure that we pass the MOT, handy hint for you, give your mechanic a good finger, and you're much more likely to pass. Well, Gilroy's in and on the ramp having its MOT. That's way too overexposed.
Well, Gilroy's on the ramp having its MOT done. At least we made it here without any major issues. The big question, of course, is will it pass the MOT or will it fail? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I'll see you guys in the next video when we'll be finding out whether Gilroy passed or failed its MOT. Till then, see ya. Take care.